Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen, all in crypto here, and welcome back for another YouTube video. I'm happy to have you with me. Today, guys, we are going to be looking at why I believe not only Cardano, but the rest of the crypto market is selling off, the real reason for why this is happening, and what's really led me to make this video is, I obviously consume a lot of content myself. I read a lot of articles. I try and stay as up to date and as relevant in the crypto space as I possibly can. And one thing that I've really noticed, certainly when I'm watching other YouTubers on YouTube, is there are some exceptionally good YouTubers out there. However, I would probably say 95% of YouTubers out there who are talking about this subject really have no idea what they're on about, and that's really what has prompted me to make this video. I think the reasons that are largely being given, certainly in Cardano's case, is that we're seeing a sell-off after the Merry hard fork, pullbacks long overdue, which I agree with some of these. However, people are just really making up narratives to fit their overall agenda. And I think the short and curlies of this sell-off is very, very simple. I don't think there's anything to panic about. You guys know my stance by now. If you've been watching the channel and you're subscribed, I think we are in a 2017-esque bull market, and 2021 is just a repeat of 2017. I follow the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory. We're following it perfectly. And this is just a short sort of pullback, the same way that in 2017 we had a number of pullbacks, and they were really all just buying opportunities. Cryptocurrencies, let me just stress this before I go on to explain why we're selling off. Cryptocurrencies is going up. Blockchain technology is going to be integrated into every single facet of society. It is essentially the third generation internet. We've gone over this so many times on this channel, and I'm going to continue to go over it because it's important for people to understand what they are investing into. And you see a lot of similarities between Bitcoin and sort of early Amazon and early sort of stocks that were involved in that sort of dot-com boom. But that's really not what we're focused on in this video. I just thought I'd get that out there as my overarching opinion on crypto before we dive into why not only Cardano, but the rest of the market is selling off. And it's a lot more simple than people make out. Like I say, there's a lot of narratives out there that people are essentially telling you, they're coming up with all sorts of reasons why the market is selling off. They're blaming so-and-so or so-and-so and so-and-so. Essentially what is happening right now, guys, and there's a little bit of economics that comes into play. Let us first establish the fact that the crypto market is correlated to world events. And what I mean by that is the same way that world events affect the stock market, the same way that world events affect the currency market, they affect the commodities market, they affect things like gold and silver, they also affect the cryptocurrency market. And this is an absolutely cryptocurrency-based channel. However, when I look to invest into something, or when I'm looking at what a current situation how a current situation is unfolding, such as a sell-off or a sort of rise in prices, you really need to take a look at a world view. And what I mean by world view is what is happening in the world, and how do we know that not only cryptocurrencies but a lot of other markets out there are correlated to world events. Well, we saw a perfect example of that back in March when we had the sort of news of the thing that shall not be named, the thing that we're all still, certainly in the UK, we're still living through, we're still locked down as a result of, in some senses. So we know that there is correlation there. And what is happening currently? Well, it's not just the crypto market that is selling off, it is the stock market. And, this is really where we see the correlation between the cryptocurrency market and the stock market. And you would absolutely argue that the cryptocurrency market is less correlated to the stock market than other sort of assets, but it's not really the correlation between the stock market that is causing this. It's the correlation between world events. And when you are an investor, certainly when you are a trader, world events have a big part to play on what's happening at an investment level. And you can do all the technical analysis you want, but I'd argue a lot of traders got caught out back in March. A lot of people that strictly follow technical analysis. Technical analysis is great. However, if the world events and the surrounding sort of situation that is unfolding doesn't comply with that technical analysis, you're going to get caught blind, essentially. So what have we seen happening? Well, we saw the stock market sell off. We have essentially, so many articles floating around about Jerome Powell and the fact that the interest rates are potentially going to be going up. The European stock market continues to tumble amid fears of rising interest rates. The US stock market closes to wiping out, that's really bad English, 2021 gains as Thursday's sell-off gathers steam after Powell's comments. So when we're looking at charts, when we're looking at BTC, when we're looking at Cardano, ADA, and when we're looking at Ethereum, apologies if there's any lag on this video, guys. I have a hell of a lot of programs open right now, so my computer is working overtime. You already know my opinion that essentially everything is following Bitcoin. You can see Ethereum follows it more closely as a larger altcoin. And then you have ADA sort of somewhat trailing behind. You are seeing it selling off after its all-time highs, but come on, guys, ADA has done a hell of a lot. It's nearly 7x this year. So let's give it a bit of a break. I mean, a pullback is absolutely to come. But when we're talking about the wider crypto market, these two things that I've mentioned to you here about the US stock market and the European stock market selling off, and really what they're selling off as a result of is the fact that when we look at these charts, back to what I was saying, BTC USD, ADA USD, Ethereum USD, what we're doing is we're comparing the value of Bitcoin to the US dollar, and we're comparing the value of ADA to the US dollar. And when the US dollar sees relative strength, and if there is a spike in interest rates, what that would essentially mean is the US dollar becomes more expensive to get hold of. It's going to cost you more money to essentially borrow and access the US dollar. And the US dollar is the most widely sort of used currency. It's why we look at everything in the US dollar. Even though I'm from the UK, I sort of denominate things in the US dollar largely. Even some of my portfolios are still denominated, and you know, I've got a really good understanding of the rates between them because I've just been doing it for so long. But what you're essentially saying is you're seeing rumors that the US dollar might gather some sort of strength in comparison with commodities, stocks, crypto. And what that does is that then means that people look and they go, hang on, if this is going to happen, it's going to pay us in the short term. I'm a macro trader, guys. You guys know that. Long term, cryptocurrencies to the moon, 100% in my opinion. There are some out there that are going to perform better than others. You know my opinion. I think a lot of altcoins largely outperform not only Bitcoin but Ethereum. But you know, we'll see what happens. But what I'm essentially saying here is that the US dollar is gaining somewhat relative strength, unreasonably in my opinion, because you know, if you look at the fact that we printed like 22% of all dollars in existence in the past like year or so. You know, we should be seeing things like inflation. And what essentially the countries are doing when they're talking about upping interest rates is they're trying to prevent this from happening. They're trying to fight back. You can't really think that you know, if I can tell you that they're devaluing the US dollar, they know that themselves, these people that are in charge, and what they're going to try and do is fight back. They're going to try to sort of prolong the slaughter of the US dollar. And one way they can do that with is by increasing interest rates. And essentially what that will do is mean that the US dollar becomes more expensive, more of a valuable more of a valuable sort of currency to hold. They aren't going to raise interest rates up too much, and I'll tell you why. Because a lot of countries have US dollar debt, so it would really put a lot of countries out there in a lot of jeopardy and make it almost impossible for them to pay back the debt. So they won't increase it too much. But the thing is, even a small increase has somewhat of an effect on, you know, its strength against commodities, assets, you know, stocks, bonds. So what a lot of people will be doing right now is they'll essentially be cashing out of their positions. And you know, what we saw in March was we saw a sell-off across the board, and people go, well, why did the cryptocurrency market get hit? Because people were trying to hold cash at that time, so they were going for the most illiquid asset. No, they were going for the most liquid asset, which of course is crypto. Crypto is very liquid in a lot of senses. And then they went for, you know, the sort of harder assets to cash out from, sort of lag behind in a lot of senses. But regardless, because of the world events, you saw the crash sort of happen universally. So what is essentially happening, like I say, is the US dollar is gaining some strength, and that of course is resulting in a pullback. This is only a short-term thing, guys. It's so obvious that the US dollar is going to continue to get devalued. Go and ask your parents how much they bought their house for. Go and ask your grandparents how much they bought their house for, how much you could buy a loaf of bread for, etc., etc. The US dollar on a macro scale is a perpetual short. It is perpetually losing its value. However, it will have points of relative strength, and you are seeing one of those right now, I believe. Do not listen to all this mumbo jumbo about people telling you that, this is why the crypto market's selling off, that's why the crypto market's selling off. It's nonsense. You have to, as an investor, look at the entire world and say, look, what is going on right now and how is this affecting my investment? And if you do that, you will have clarity. One thing that I love about being a macro trader is not only do I not have this stress of day trading or short-term trading, and believe me, it is very, very stressful. I've told you on numerous occasions, I have plenty of friends who not only day trade, but short-term trade and trade on a short time frame. Every time I see them, they look like they've aged 5 years. It's a stressful thing. They're constantly falling out with their partners, etc., etc. Being a macro trader, you when in doubt, zoom out. You get the bigger picture, and what you can do as a result of that is you can say, hey, this is what's going on, and you can sort of connect the dots. And that's what this video is really about. It's telling you guys there's nothing to worry about. You are having a somewhat period or a rumor period of the US dollar maybe showing some sort of a strength against commodities, asset stocks, bonds, not bonds, cryptocurrencies. And this is really what's in some senses fueling this sell-off. So do not panic. Like I said, you know my overarching opinion. It's why I sort of mentioned it at the start. We are going to see a very, very similar structure play out, and we're already seeing a similar structure play out. If you look at it on a sort of, you go to the start of 2017 and saw how that played out in comparison with how we're playing out now, very much identical. You're going to see altcoins going up with Bitcoin, of course. Bitcoin is a tide that rises all ships. And this is nothing to worry about. This is just a blip. Yes, the structure, you're seeing more of a sell-off in ADA, and you actually saw more of a sell-off in Ethereum relative to Bitcoin. That's just more confirmation for me that everything follows Bitcoin. And of course, altcoins are significantly more volatile than Bitcoin. In a very volatile market, sometimes it pays you to be in the less volatile of those cryptos. And Bitcoin is, in a lot of respects, significantly less volatile than altcoins. And that really just comes to the sort of market cap, and it has more volume in it, which means it's harder to make it volatile. But do not fear, guys. Like I say, just a quick video. I wanted to really get on here, put everyone's minds at ease, tell you really what I believe is going on. This is all my opinion. Of course, there are going to be other factors at play. However, largely, when you look at the crypto market as a whole and you see the fact that we are continuing to sell off, and it's likely we could continue to sell off. There's nothing ruling that out. There's really an overarching elephant in the room, and that's essentially that the US dollar may be gathering some short-term strength. This will not last. Like I say, the US dollar is a perpetual short. Not only the US dollar, I don't know why, I feel a bit bad for the US dollar. I feel like I'm bullying him a little bit. GBP, Euro, Yen, etc., etc. And of course, how the actual countries are doing individually also plays into this. But certainly when we're looking at the US dollar, it may be showing somewhat strength. But they aren't going to hike interest rates up too much, so don't worry too much. Because they can't do that because they know countries just wouldn't be able to pay their debt back. So that is really all I have for you in this video. I hope you found this enjoyable. I hope you found this informative. If you have, leave me a like. I also want to hear your comments. I really, really appreciate all the new subscribers and all the new comments. I spend hours going through the comments, and I can honestly tell you I get some serious value out of it. There are a lot of smart people watching these videos and out there on YouTube. It's really encouraging and positive to see that the cryptocurrency market is attracting such bright minds. So if you've enjoyed this video, like I say, leave me a like, drop me a comment, let me know what you thought, and subscribe for more videos, guys, because this channel is going from strength to strength and is going to continue to do so. And I want you all to be a part of that and here on this journey with me. This is going to be a great year for us. I believe that truly, and I want to share that with you guys. So get subscribed, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next video. Have a fantastic Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you've had a good week, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.